Before we get into the video, could everyone please subscribe to my Endless Diary Tales channel? Thank you so much. On the day of the company's yearly meeting, Sarah brought a man up to the front. She told everyone he was the new vice president. Right away, everyone looked at me. The manager even gave me a smug look. Sarah Lewis had been with the company for years, so why didn't I get the promotion? Sarah just laughed it off. Lewis is the backbone of the company. He's best at the ground level. I knew Sarah was sure I wouldn't complain or leave her. I glanced at the new VP and then I understood. He looked exactly like her college boyfriend who had died suddenly. I felt really tired all of a sudden. I took off my company badge and threw it down in front of Sarah. "Sarah, I'm done." "What do you mean?" Sarah asked, a little annoyed. Her eyebrows went up as she tried to stay calm in front of all the employees. I could tell she was getting angry under the surface. Everyone was watching me, some looking like they were enjoying the drama, others just curious. A few even snickered. They were waiting for a scene. Sarah handed my badge back to me, speaking more quietly now. But I knew this was as far as she would bend. "Alex is just here for a little while. We go way back. It's just a temporary thing. You can still apply for the VP job when it opens up. We're all adults here. No need for childish outbursts." But I didn't care anymore. "No, Sarah, I'm done," I said firmly. Sarah's face got darker. I guess she didn't expect me to defy her in front of everyone. Alex spoke up, his voice sounding humble and like he wanted to help. "Sarah Lewis really is the backbone. Being dropped in like this, people might not say it, but I bet they have their opinions. I'm happy to start from the bottom and give the spot to someone more capable." But Sarah, hearing Alex's humble tone, got even angrier. "Alex, enough with the modesty. No one is more suitable than you. I put you here because you are right for the job. Anyone who has a problem with it can come talk to me." With Sarah's strong words, no one dared to disagree. They all nodded, saying they would follow Sarah's decisions. Then Sarah turned to me impatiently. "Lewis, I've said what I needed to. Do the job or leave." I smirked, knowing she had less patience for me than for others, even new interns. Before I could answer, Sarah continued, "Alex, sit next to me. Let's start the meeting and introduce you to the department heads." Suddenly, I felt like a forgotten fool, just standing there with nothing to do. I could feel people looking at me with either pity or mockery. Without thinking twice, I took off my wedding ring and put it on the table, then walked out. "Lewis, walk out and don't even bother coming back." Sarah's voice, full of anger, echoed behind me. I ignored it and kept walking. As soon as I left the room, a few colleagues came over, acting like they were concerned. They probably guessed what had happened. "Lewis, at our age, isn't staying at the company more important? Losing a job is hard, especially for a tech guy like you. There are fresh graduates everywhere who would hire someone your age." I'm just being blunt, no offense. Their words felt like threats. Without Sarah's job, I was nothing. Leaving her made me a nobody. After a pause, the meeting had ended, and I could hear people congratulating Sarah for getting rid of pests. Some even hinted that I was also getting kicked out of my marriage. I looked back at the toxic company and their fake faces, feeling really tired. Then I sighed deeply. I was Sarah's husband in name only. This role was like an invisible chain, keeping me trapped and making me feel like I couldn't breathe. We met in college. I was in the year below her studying finance. My dad had been their driver for years, like family. He even saved Sarah's dad's life once, which kind of tied me to her. Her dad had wished for us to marry before he passed away. Sarah was still grieving for her lost love at that time, who had died in a similar way. I stood by her during her darkest days, helping her heal. Maybe out of thankfulness or just not knowing what else to do, she agreed to marry me. But we never actually got the paperwork done or acted like husband and wife. Whenever I brought it up, she would use work as an excuse to avoid the topic. I thought her saying yes to marrying meant she felt something for me. My support must have won her over. I even turned down job offers from big companies to join her company as a tech manager to help make things stable after her father died, and keep everything running smoothly. I didn't plan on revealing our relationship at work, but it ended up putting me on everyone's bad side. I worked hard at the office and took care of her at home. I hoped my actions would slowly change her feelings and make her notice me. But then with Alex's arrival, I finally realized that some hearts are like cold stones. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't warm them. I packed my things, went straight downstairs, and left the company. As soon as I stepped out of the office building, I didn't hesitate. I took out my phone and sent in my resignation. The HR manager quickly approved it. I could already imagine Sarah's smirk when she heard I quit, but none of that mattered anymore. I went back to the place my coworkers gossiped about as a shared department. In reality, it was just a place we rented together. I took one last look at those familiar things and quietly gathered my few belongings, ready to leave. On my way to my new place, I suddenly wanted a drink, so I picked up a few bottles on the way. I ended up getting really drunk, feeling both heartbroken over the wasted years and happy about my new freedom. A couple of days later, I heard a voice. "Oh my, what's this about? Why are you lying on the ground? Are you feeling unwell?" I rubbed my throbbing head, starting to sober up a bit. The person handed me a glass of water. I looked up and saw a young woman. I hesitated, confused. "Who are you?" She seemed surprised that I asked her who she was first. She tucked her hair back and smiled. "Didn't the landlord tell you? I'm the previous tenant here. I'm here to pick up some things I left behind." "Hey there, I'm Vivian." I frowned, checked my phone, and sure enough, there were messages and a missed call from the landlord. Probably lost in my drunken sleep. As we talked, I learned Vivian had just quit her job. Seeing her youthful energy and her pursuit of freedom made me feel genuinely envious. After hearing about my recent job loss and breakup, and seeing the mess of bottles around, Vivian immediately said, "Louis, why don't we go see the ocean together? We've been getting along so well. And since we both just left our jobs, let's celebrate our newfound freedom. I've been wanting to go to the beach, but my friends don't want to go with me. You should come." I looked at her face. I honestly couldn't remember the last time I had wanted to see the ocean. But life is about these moments, right? I had lost my job. What else was there to lose? It's not like I would starve. So we went to see the ocean in the city next to ours. Watching the waves crash and then go back out on the sand, I felt a rare sense of peace and started talking with her. Vivian was easy to talk to. I guess recent graduates are just this lively, not yet worn down by office politics and being tired all the time. We talked from sunrise to sunset and watched the sunset over the ocean. Her dreams and youthful spirit amazed me. "Louis, I don't think people should be stuck in the past. When I first saw you on the couch drunk, I thought you might be trouble. You gave me quite a scare," she began, sharing the funny story of finding me. I laughed along. Her words made me think about how the past years had felt like I was tied down. Ever since graduating, my life was just a routine. Work for the company, then evenings with Sarah. Yet she never seemed to appreciate it. Her moods always kept me on edge. Sarah regretted our agreement to marry shortly after when I excitedly asked about our wedding date. She was cold and said she didn't want to marry. She only maintained this arrangement because of her father's last wish. Her home was filled with memories of that deceased man, with photo frames everywhere. They hurt to look at. Any disturbance from me, even just cleaning, would make her angry. It drained me mentally. As I watched Vivian's youthful face, I laughed. I'm not the kind to talk about my troubles easily, being a grown man, and this relationship was hard to describe. I couldn't even recall how I felt about Sarah anymore, but Vivian listened patiently, following my rambling story to the end. After talking, I suddenly felt a weight lift off my chest. Returning home from our trip, we planned to go our separate ways, so we headed back to the rented place. Vivian continued gathering her old things, including a small appliance that took some time to take apart. Watching her busy figure, I was grateful for our chats, but Vivian had her own dreams and freedom to chase. I was just a passing friend in her life, still thankful for her listening and guidance. Walking in, we found unwelcome guests inside. M was Sarah's bodyguard. Seeing me, he nodded politely. "Louis, Sarah wants you back." "She wants me back?" Their respect felt strange. Her family had looked down on me for years, thought I was unworthy. Even her bodyguards were rude, but now they were treating me with respect. It felt odd, but I wouldn't change my mind just because they were being polite. "Tell Sarah I'm not coming back. I won't put up with any more nonsense. She can find someone else." The leader seemed surprised by my firm stance. Years of arguments with Sarah had never been so resolute. I was always the first to apologize. They never had to step in. Seeing me so determined, they switched tactics from soft to hard. Louis, if you don't agree, don't blame us for taking forceful measures, he chuckled. Their comment was absurd. Go ahead and try. I'll call the cops. It'll be out of your hands. Rule of law society. You guys really want to kidnap someone in broad daylight? The leader stared at me for a while. Finally, he realized that I wasn't going to give in. He had no choice but to speak up. Sorry, Louis, I was being reckless earlier. I'll get back to Sarah right now. He and his crew went downstairs to make a call, and I just sat on the couch waiting. Sure enough, it wasn't long before he returned with Sarah. Sarah walked in wearing a tight dress and high heels, looking all cold and distant. I suddenly felt like she was a stranger. It had only been a few days, but it seemed like years. Maybe because I had already moved on from her in my heart. Looking at her now didn't stir any feelings like it used to. Sarah stopped and glanced around the small room with her arms crossed, then bluntly said, Louis, I hope you'll come back. You can't really plan on staying here forever, can you? We're still married, you know. What does it look like with you not coming back? Sarah, have you forgotten? We're not legally married. You didn't even get a marriage certificate with me, and now you want me to go back? Sorry, I refuse. She was taken aback by my refusal, then frowned deeply as if she hadn't expected me to be so firm. Sarah sighed after a moment, remaining composed. If it's because of the thing with Alex the other day, let me tell you it's all resolved now. I'm willing to double your salary if you come back. The company needs you, Louis. Don't be stubborn. Looking at her face, I was amazed she would say such things. No matter what I did in the past, she always belittled me. It was like she thought I'd be out on the street the second I left her in the company. Now she was back asking me nicely. There must be a problem at the company that only I could fix. Turns out my abilities weren't as worthless as she said. If she was willing to pay double to hire me again, my worth must be more than that. Sorry, I refuse. Hire someone else, I said again, this time nodding towards the door to suggest she should leave. Louis, can you stop being like this? Do you think I'm Sarah and I can't find anyone else but you? What a joke. Sarah burst out, clearly angry. Embarrassed at this point, Vivian, who had been listening from the bedroom, stepped out to back me up. Who is this? I thought. First you said no to him. Now that you can't find anyone, you're back begging him. Quite the plan you have there. I heard it all from the bedroom. Sarah, spotting Vivian for the first time, frowned. Who are you? What's your relationship with him? Before I could explain, Vivian chuckled and boldly replied, I'm Louis's girlfriend. Who are you to stride in here? Everyone was shocked and Sarah demanded, Louis, explain. When did you start betraying our relationship? I was puzzled by her reaction. After all those years, she had never shown a hint of care for me, but I figured it was best not to let this misunderstanding grow. Vivian meant well. I just hoped she wouldn't get tangled up in this mess. Well, not, I started to say, but Vivian cut me off, playing it cool. You two didn't even have a real relationship going, so what does betrayal matter? And for what it's worth, we met after you two broke up. You just throw around the word betrayal pretty lightly. Watching Sarah, Vivian continued. Every day with you, Louis had no break. He was always creating value for your company, and then he'd come home to take care of you. Honestly, with the salary you gave him, it was insulting. You took advantage of his feelings for you to pay him so little. Do you even know what tech managers with his qualifications make on average nowadays? Double pay is a joke. It's barely average. Sarah looked mortified, her gaze icy. So, Louis, this is what you really think? She asked, shocked. I decided to just lay it all out. Yeah, Sarah, you never respected or loved me. Keeping me around was just convenient for you, useful for life and business. Each day with you was agonizing. Then why agree to marry me in the first place? She shot back. Grown wings? Got opinions now, huh? Found yourself a little girlfriend. Sarah fumed. That ticked me off. Oh, you can have Alex as your stand-in love interest, but I can't find someone normal after we split? You can have a replacement, but I can't find someone new? Back off, Sarah. My words left Sarah speechless. Fuming, Louis, I don't want to argue about this anymore. You're just intolerable now. Sarah huffed after taking a deep breath, seeming exasperated and done with the conversation. I listened, unbothered and even feeling a strange sense of relief. Sarah, your opinion on me doesn't concern me. If you now find me unbearable, keep it that way. Don't change, please. Okay, Louis, is this how you want to speak to me now? Sarah laughed angrily, eyeing the small room I rented. Have it your way. You think my pay is low? See if anyone outside offers more. With that, Sarah shot a look at Vivian and stormed out with her crew, leaving me to think about what she said, suddenly feeling a bit pessimistic. Louis, don't be discouraged. Everything I said just now is true. I really think you, with your degree and experience, could go somewhere bigger. Vivian chimed in to comfort me, suddenly remembering something about my previous company. New York happens to need someone with your skills. I'll reach out to them and see if they're still hiring. I'm sure you can get in. If Sarah's offering to double your pay, it's because you're worth it. Your capabilities are undeniable. I managed to pull out a slight smile, feeling a bit better thanks to her encouraging words. Then I spoke softly. Thanks, Vivian. Sorry for the trouble. Just call me Vivian. Afterwards, we said our goodbyes, wishing each other a better future. Just as I closed the door, a message from Sarah popped up on my phone. Louis, we both overreacted earlier. Let me ask you again, do you want to come back? Think about it. Before, the team was just being considerate. Now here's your chance. It won't wait forever. Reading "It won't wait forever" made me chuckle coldly, and I immediately blocked her. Sarah actually swallowing her pride to give me face was a massive change. In the past years, she had never shown me an ounce of kindness or respect at work. She was harsh to the extreme, iron-faced and heartless. Any small mistake on my part would be met with harsh criticism in front of everyone, with no regard for my feelings or dignity. Now recalling those embarrassing scenes, a bittersweet feeling welled up inside. Maybe that was the reason colleagues were so cold or even hostile to me. After all, if the boss doesn't respect me, why would they? Our arguments became routine. Each time she'd compare me to some deceased ex of hers, making me feel like I never measured up. She knew it hurt but humiliated me publicly anyway. Back then, I still held a bit of hope and affection for her, so I'd usually back down and take the blame. My attempts to be nice didn't earn her understanding or respect. Instead, it empowered her to trample my dignity more. I tried so hard, poured everything into trying to win her over, only to be toyed with and deeply hurt. Now that I finally decided to move on, she actually extends an olive branch. If her past self saw this, she'd think she had lost her mind. Her change in attitude made it clear the company was really short-staffed and maybe my skills weren't as worthless as she made them seem. At least I wouldn't be on the street without a job. Following Vivian's address, I found her former company, a leading enterprise in my previous industry. Their size and strength were worlds apart from Sarah's small company. I managed a dry smile, feeling my confidence waver. Vivian really went out on a limb for me, I thought. But since I was already there, I figured why not try? To my surprise, the interview process was smooth. I quickly passed the rounds of screening and assessments. When they shook my hand to welcome me on board, it felt like a dream. They not only offered a higher position and salary, but even threw a grand welcome ceremony. Even the person guiding me through paperwork couldn't help but comment, Louis, why were you working at a place like that? With your resume and credentials, you'll have a much brighter future here. I was almost dizzy with the unexpected good news. At the welcoming event, I suddenly noticed Sarah's grim face in the crowd. That's when it hit me. This company invested in small to mid-size firms like Sarah's. Now, joining as regional general manager meant she'd need to meet the new partner. Although unsure whose idea this was, seeing Sarah's livid expression felt incredibly satisfying. After work that day, Sarah confronted me, her face full of anger. Louis, you've won. You got me. I frowned, my eyes locked on Sarah's cold face. She seemed unfazed by my reaction, continuing on. You've proven your capabilities to me. Come back to the company. I'll pay you better with a vice president role. All I felt was absolute disbelief, shaking my head firmly. As I've said before, I refuse. Sarah, I will not return to your company. Hearing this, Sarah tightened her lips, struggling to find words before finally saying, if there's something else you're unhappy about, I'd be willing to marry you. Her words made me laugh internally. Once upon a time, I would have loved to hear that, but she told me to be content back then. Now she suggests marriage out of the blue. It's just laughable. But at this point, I felt nothing for her. I gazed at her, remaining silent as she hurriedly tried to explain. If this is about Alex, I hope you'll stop. We're just colleagues, not what you thought. Sarah seemed anxious to clear up any misunderstanding, but I didn't care to listen. I've moved past caring about her and Alex's situation. Not loving Sarah anymore made her explanations irrelevant. Seeing me unmoved, Sarah finally lost her composure, shouting in rage, "Louis, people like you I can find anywhere. What's with the attitude? Just because you got hired by the main office, you think you can look down on me?" I ignored her shouting and just walked away. Soon enough, Sarah loudly announced that she had found a new technical manager. She even brought them to the main office to run some business. They said this talent was recommended by Vice President Alex. I saw her sneaking glances over here but felt nothing. I just kept doing my job. But it wasn't long before bigger news hit. Sarah's new tech manager faked their education records, causing the company to go bust. This fake talent ended up losing Sarah's company tens of thousands. All that money vanished overnight. The incident got a lot of media attention. I saw Sarah looking worn out, getting interviewed on TV and saying she was openly recruiting new talent to fill the gap. I turned off the TV and didn't follow up on the developments. I didn't expect Sarah to come find me again, holding a big bouquet of roses. "Sarah, what's this about?" I asked with a stern face. Sarah forced a smile, saying, "Come to take you home. What else?" "No need. We have nothing to do with each other anymore." Sarah didn't want to accept this. Maybe she thought she had done enough, but I still wouldn't give in. "Louis, we've known each other since we were kids. We practically grew up together. You're not going to cut me off completely over this, are you?" She tried playing on emotions, pulling out the wedding ring I took off before and trying to slip it onto my finger. I shook her off. "Sarah, you don't really love me. Just like that wedding ring, I was always the only one wearing it. I never saw you wear it. Hearts can get tired no matter how much I loved you before." The constant hurt wore me down. I know how to let go. Sarah had never heard me speak so honestly about my feelings towards her. She snapped, "If you loved me that much, you'd come back. If you come back, I'll get rid of Alex." "Okay, I'm begging you, Louis. I'm not joking." I smirked and laughed coldly. "Alex, you can keep him for yourself." After that, I ignored her pleas and shut her out. But then she turned into a persistent annoyance, meeting me before and after work and even occasionally bringing me meals. I found it unbearable. I smiled and told her people with my skills are in high demand at schools. Her small company could never afford someone like me. I told her to stop finding me. "We're done. What do you want me to do, Louis? I've done so much already. If you keep being ungrateful, don't blame me for being ruthless." After another argument, Sarah shouted in anger, tossed the wedding ring and stormed off. I watched her leave and felt a wave of peace. A few days later, while at work, the company unexpectedly invited me to a party. When I saw Vivian in her lovely dress, pieces fell into place about what had happened before. She winked slightly and told me to be quiet about it. At the party, Sarah was there too. Seeing me with Vivian, she looked shocked. Sarah assumed I left her because of Vivian. She sneered, saying, "Louis, so you left because you found someone better? Pretended to have principles while all this time you're just a gold digger." Her words were full of disdain, but Vivian wasn't one to back down easily. She chuckled and snapped back, "Can't beat you, big sis. Got Louis at home, a crush in your heart, and a stand-in at the company. Hard to tell who you really love." Vivian's retort made Sarah's face darken. She seemed to hit a nerve and they began to argue. I was about to tell Vivian it wasn't worth it when Sarah's phone rang, interrupting them. She gave us a vicious glare before answering. Soon her expression turned pale. I overheard bits of the conversation. "Sarah, what do we do? Alex took all the company's cash and fled overseas." Sarah was stunned, her body trembling. She collapsed to the ground, muttering, "No way, it can't be." I checked the finances. Vivian looked at the distraught Sarah with disdain and had security escort her out. After that day, I didn't see much of Sarah. I stayed tuned for updates. Turns out, after Alex fled with the money, Sarah's company lost its financial lifeline. Plus, Alex's misuse of power made key employees lose loyalty. The company soon couldn't hold out and was about to declare bankruptcy. Police investigations only found a note left by Alex, complaining about being a stand-in and cursing Sarah's ways. Sarah lost everything. Her company went bankrupt, her love life shattered, and her reputation ruined. Things got really tough. Suddenly, on my way home, I unexpectedly saw her again. Sarah saw me and ran over like she was losing her mind. Given her current situation, I thought she might do something drastic. I took a few steps back, keeping some distance. Sarah's hair was a mess, and her past glamorous self was gone. She looked exhausted and downcast. When she saw me, tears immediately welled up in her eyes, and her voice trembled. "Louis, I've been waiting for you for so long. After everything, I realized that you were the only one truly good to me." I was stunned, not knowing how to respond. She continued, "I hope you can be with me. If you want, you can keep working at this company too. I have nothing left now. I just want to be with you. I'm begging you." Her words were full of pleading and desperation, but I couldn't accept her feelings. Taking a deep breath, I felt resigned. "Sarah, it's over between us." She seemed not to hear me and just kept talking. "I figured it out. I'll throw those things away, those photos at home that you don't like. I'll get rid of them. I just hope you can give me a chance. Please, Louis." However, I didn't want to listen anymore. Just then, Vivian walked out from the complex. She saw us, a flash of surprise in her eyes, but she quickly regained her calm. Now she and I were living together officially as a couple. I walked away from Sarah and headed towards Vivian. Sarah stood there, still pouring her heart out. In the end, we walked away from that place amidst her pleas. The once glamorous Sarah was replaced by a disheveled woman, her figure looking especially lonely and helpless in the night. That was the last time I saw Sarah. Later, for safety reasons, we quietly moved to a new complex and started a new life. Our careers were thriving, and my relationship with Vivian grew stronger. However, one day, I suddenly saw news about Sarah's death. It seemed like the overwhelming debt was too much for her, and she chose to take her own life. I felt a bit emotional but treated it as just another news story. After all, there was nothing left between us anymore.